Business Exclusive, is the president and CEO of the American Petroleum Institute. Mike Sommers is here. Mike, thanks very much for joining us this weekend. Your reaction to what you heard from the president there?
Well, as you know, Maria, this is a particularly egregious claim by the White House. The fact that the president continues to say that oil companies are gouging consumers is just outrageous. The truth of the matter is that gasoline prices are set by factors related to supply and demand. It has nothing to do with price gouging. And the fact that this president continues to put out this claim is just outrageous, and it distracts from what we really should be focused on, which is increasing production here in the United States.
And they're not increasing production. You know that. Joe Manchin's permitting promise, they reneged on that. And there is a banning of certain products underway. What can you tell us about the supply and demand situation right now?
So right now, the United States is producing about 12 million barrels of oil every single day. But that's down from record highs in 2019 of 13 million barrels of production every single day. We need to get those numbers up. And the way to do it is to get permitting reform done here in the United States as quickly as possible. But we also have to have conversations with lenders in this country. We're very concerned about efforts to limit lending to oil and gas companies that's going to require us to produce more product here in the United States because of our continued reliance on foreign sources for oil and gas. We can continue to be the leader in the production of both refined products, oil, and natural gas if we get the policies right. And unfortunately, we have an administration right now that is, instead of being focused on more production, they're focused on demonizing an industry that employs more than 11 million American workers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the price of gasoline is arrived by the supply and demand situation. And about the lenders, just last week, Jamie Dimon testified on Capitol Hill and was asked by Rashida Tlaib, are you going to, stop lending to fossil fuel companies? And he said that would lead to the road to hell to America. So even he understands this and shot that down. Do you think that the lenders are shooting it down, or are some lenders following suit and taking the suggestions of this administration and cutting off fossil fuel companies?
Well, God bless Jamie Dimon for speaking truth to power here. The truth of the matter is that we're going to need oil and gas for decades and decades into the future. We also know that there are going to be more renewables that come into the marketplace. But energy demand is only growing in the United States and throughout the world. And that means that we're going to continue to need oil and gas. And I think the truth of the matter is that we need oil and gas from the United States. Because if we're not getting it from the United States, we're going to be getting it from regimes that are hostile to American interest. So what the administration should be focused on is policies that advance American energy leadership and lower consumer costs. And instead of demonizing this industry at every turn, which is what this president seems to be doing, they should be focused on how we get more production going right now. And the policies that they've pursued are only undermining the industry right now.
Well, at the same time, Mike, you've got a president which is selling off the oil in our Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I was under the impression that the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was used only for emergencies and crisis situations, but we're now at a record low because he keeps selling it. And amazingly to me, he's selling it to our adversaries. He sold it to a Chinese company tied to the Chinese Communist Party. Why are we selling our U.S. petroleum in the petroleum reserve to adversaries? And what do you make of the level in the reserve right now?
This is a real concern, I think, that every American should have right now. This president has sold more petroleum products from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve than any other president combined. And we're at the lowest levels in the SPR that we have been since 1984. Here's the problem, Maria. The fact of the matter is that Americans are using more oil than we did in 1984, 27% more oil on a daily basis than we used in 1984, and we're at the lowest levels we've ever been. There's only about 4 days of world demand in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve right now. We need to get those numbers up. but we also need to get more production on. That's the real answer. And the policies that they've provided right now are continuing to put their foot on the throat of American production. We need to get that up as quickly as possible. And the concerns that we have are that because of how low we are in the SPR, if there's a real tragedy, a real supply disruption, we just don't have the supply that we need. And that should be concerning to every single American.
And here we are just off of a major hurricane, the worst on record, when in fact some of those supplies are needed in a real emergency way. But like you said, they're at a low. Mike, we're going to keep watching this story. We so appreciate you joining me this weekend. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Maria.